been thinking a lot about trying and not trying. Um, Meditation is very popular nowadays. Spirituality has always been popular. And I'm noticing that a lot of kinds of meditation, a lot of people come to meditation trying to do something. And I meet with people one on one, and they talk about like mantras or having some kind of idea that they want to like really embody. Um, you know, Taking the concept of stillness and just really trying to be stillness, and um, and that's great. And there's a lot of different kinds of Buddhism that do that, right? They take certain images or even certain like ancient Buddhist deities and you try to like embody them. That's kind of like a tantric thing. Obviously, mantras are kind of a big part of various kinds of Buddhism. Um, and I've just been really kind of aware that Zen in particular kind of takes the non-trying approach. And so I've just kind of been thinking about that a lot. Thinking about that not just in meditation practices but in life, how there's kind of two different ways to get what we want. One way of looking at it. Two different ways of pursuing things. Um, and I can think of a bunch of examples in my own life, and I'm sure you could think of some in your own life where, on the one hand, there's like trying and striving and fighting and forcing. Most strongly, I think of like legislation or policy change or gardening or going, working out to try to change your body. These are things that like we have to try, we have to do something, we have to make it happen. We have a goal, we take steps, we follow the ingredients, and things happen. But then there's this other aspect of life, at least in my experience, where it's a lot easier to get things, it's a lot easier to accomplish things if I stop trying, if I let go of the goal, right? I'm thinking about if you have a love interest and I'm pining and I'm pining and I'm sending notes and I'm sending emails and I'm dressing this way and I'm trying to set up certain situations and it doesn't work. And then as soon as I just give up and just say, all right, well, I guess that's not going to happen, and I just stop trying, all of a sudden that person's interested. Or in my life in particular, for years and years, I was killing myself trying to be a performer. I wanted to be a pop star, right? So I was in Los Angeles and I was just doing all the things and just stressing and anxiety, and just every ounce of my being was dedicated to doing whatever I could to be Justin Timberlake. Um, and I burned out and it was unhealthy. And then the minute I stopped, the minute I said, you know what, I'm going to go work on a farm. I'm going to stop listening to music altogether. I'm going to wear comfy clothes all the time. I'm going to stay away from Hollywood clubs. All the things, I just decided to like stop that and just pursue other things. And pretty much immediately, all these awesome performance opportunities came my way. And it wasn't exactly what I was looking for originally, but I really do believe that that kind of letting go of that, like, must be this way, I'm going to do whatever I can. I really do think that just kind of stopping um, really invites, creates space for the things that we need, the things that are going to naturally be a part of our path. So I've just kind of really been aware of that, non-trying, non-doing, right? I think I don't know, some recent Dharma talk, somebody was talking about non-doing, and that's kind of a very Zen thing to talk about. Um, And so Zen is, a really interesting example of how the two, trying and not trying, really come together. Because just by nature of showing up to do zazen, sitting on a cushion with your back straight, wearing simple clothing, coming to the Zen center, showing up on Zoom, taking time to be silent, that's already trying, right? We're already making an effort, especially doing retreat or doing intensive practice. That's like a huge effort that we're making. And then we have all this literature. I'm going to read a little bit from Dogen, all this literature that talks about you must make an effort and try to stop trying. And that's the kind of like secret zhuzh of Zen right there. And yeah, I think Dogen encapsulates it really well in his fascicle. We read it a lot here, the Fukanza Zengi. One of the very short little fascicle from his major life work, the Shobogenzo. And there's just a great little snippet here that really points at this. He says, put aside all involvements and suspend all affairs. So just right there, he's talking about try to not try, right? Especially for us in this kind of lay, urban, modern context. For us to put aside our involvements, put aside our family, put aside our job, put aside all the responsibilities and obligations that we have in the world, that's already making an effort. But it's making an effort to stop making an effort, to put things aside, to just be silent for a little bit. So just right there in the first couple words, he's really grasping the two of those things as one. Putting aside involvement, suspend all affairs. I like that, suspend. That works really well for us, right? Because we're not telling everybody, yo, you gotta quit your job, leave your family. That's what the Buddha did. But no, just suspend them. If you're at a monastery, suspend thinking about cooking the rice. Suspend about what you got to do in the garden. Suspend worrying about whatever health thing you got going on, unless it's urgent, obviously. Just put it on hold and make an effort to be here with this practice right now. Do not think good or bad. Right? A lot of people try meditation, they try zazen, and they say, man, my mind is just so busy. I don't know how to stop it. I can never get to 10 if I'm counting my breaths. I can't get the koan. This is I'm just a bad meditator. I'm just going to stop. And so I think we all are really clear in our practice that like there's really no such thing as bad meditation. The only bad meditation is not doing it. Refusing to do it is the only kind of bad meditation. Um, so, that's in terms of meditation. Don't think good or bad. Don't worry about how it's going. But I think that's equally important for life in general, to not think good or bad. I think that's a very powerful practice to carry. It's also very powerful to think good and bad. And as many of you may have seen already, Zen is all about X and not X. X and not X are equally true. So we're all pretty familiar with the benefits of seeing good and bad. Eating a poisonous berry is bad. Let's not do that. Um, Keeping the doors and windows closed on a summer day when you don't have AC is bad, which we all know about here at the Zen Center really well. So we all know the value of good and bad. Surgery, when you have a cancerous tumor, that's good. Racism is bad. Um, so I think we know that. But I think this practice of do not think good or bad, suspend while you're here practicing, suspend good and bad, and really just be one with what is. And I think the way that those two work together, at least in my own experience, is that the more intimate I get with this no good, no bad, the deeper I cultivate that, the longer, the more amount of time I spend suspending good and bad, the clearer I can see good and bad, right? Because, yes, it's easy to see racism is bad, some medicine is good, but there's a lot of places, as we know, it's not so clear. We just fumigated the whole property. And was it good to kill the thousands of living beings that we just killed? Was it bad? Um, is it good to suspend the filibuster so we can codify Roe v. Wade? Is it bad? Right? We do have moral dilemmas. That's all I'm saying. I think that's pretty clear. And for me, practically speaking, spending real concerted effort with this no good, no bad in Zazen um, really helps me to kind of clarify um, in every moment. Good and bad are alive in every moment. And to really be intimate with both good and bad and no good, no bad really helps to clarify. That's what the studying the precepts are. If you study the precepts, and precepts are kind of like a Buddhist guide to ethics, um, if you study them deeply here with a teacher, reading books about it, you see that we talk about it like sometimes you don't want to do this, sometimes you do want to do this. It's all a very alive, very fluid practice, right? So the precept of non killing doesn't say don't kill, it says killing is going to come up. Sometimes you have to kill. You got to kill the termites if poor little Jordan is waking up with like wood chips falling in his mouth from the termites that are coming out of the thing. You just got to do it. So I really think that, again, this letting go, this not trying, this non doing, no good, no bad, it really does help us to clarify and refine our wisdom when it comes to trying and good and bad. Do not judge true or false. I think that's the same thing. I think a lot of us come to meditation looking for some kind of deep capital T ass truth. What is it? What is the truth? What is the right thing to do? What is in line with the truth of reality? And I think, again, not to beat a dead horse, but to spend time suspending true and false. Um, all of my deepest beliefs, all of the deep experiences of oneness and the deep meditation I've had and the samadhi and the insights and the wisdom, let that shit go. That's probably the hardest part about Zen and working with a teacher is that you come in and you're like, yo, I had this enlightenment experience. I felt one. I was one with the tree, and I had this deep experience with stillness, and now I'm just gonna cultivate that experience of stillness. And the teacher's just like, you need to let that go. That is just an idea. Suspend that. Um, put that aside. That experience you thought was so real and so true might be false now. Let it go. Be here now. Suspend good, bad, true, false. give up the operations of mind, intellect, and consciousness. So again, I mean, all of these really capture trying and not trying, right? Because to do that, to give up the operations of mind takes effort, as we all know. Any of us who sit zazen, it takes incredible effort to do that, to try to let go of what I'm thinking and just be the breath, or just be the koan, or just be this, doing shikantaza. It takes enormous effort, but that effort is to the aim of non-effort, letting go of trying to do anything. Yeah, again, it's a little repetitive, but just try to stop trying. Make an effort to stop trying. Stop measuring with thoughts, ideas, and views. A lot of thoughts and ideas around Buddhism, around enlightenment, around healing, around compassion. Um, we all have these ideas of what it should look like, what it should feel like. And, some of these deep experiences that we have in Zazen and with our practice can be the biggest obstacles, right? Because we want to hold on to them. We think they're special. We want them to inform our life. We want to keep them. We want to be in line with them. But the minute that experience has passed, it's nothing but an idea. They're just as empty and impermanent as anything else. So that's why we keep coming back to the cushion. I'm thinking of some people I know who did a bunch of retreats and a bunch of intensive practices years ago, and they had all these deep experiences, and they think they're done. They're like, yeah, I did all those retreats, I did all that sitting, so I don't really need to do a retreat anymore because I really had that experience of oneness. And it's just not how it works. The minute you even say oneness, it's over. It's just this empty, stale phrase that means nothing. So to keep coming back and suspending ideas and views, what Zen is, what I am, anything, just completely let it go and just be the wind in the bamboo or the flickering light from the fan. That's it. Forget everything else. And then this one I think is the most important line: have no designs on becoming a Buddha. That to me is that's the secret. That's the trick to meditation. That's the trick to so much of that non-trying aspect, right? Um, just sit down and just be Chowa. Just be in the yurt. Forget about being a Buddha. Forget about being cool. Forget about being any kind of thing. And it's hard, right? Because we want to have an intention. We want to have a goal. We want to have an aim, somewhere that we're shooting for, a vision of something. But again, I point to the crush. You have a crush on someone. Have no designs on being that person's partner, and magic things happen. And I definitely know that in my Zen practice, working with my teacher Seisen, who's in Europe. For those of you who didn't know, Seisen is in Europe right now. She traveled there to give Kokyo, install Kokyo, who is our Dharma sister, as the abbot of her temple in Aarau, Switzerland. So Seisen's there for a month, and we'll talk about that in the announcements a little bit later. Um, But I can tell you that my spiritual life has benefited immensely. And by extension, the other aspects of my life have benefited immensely from just having no designs on anything. Fuck being Buddha. Fuck being insightful. Fuck being important. All the things that we think we want to be. Um, these ideas I have for myself. Just let them go. And it's amazing what can happen. Um, so that's the dance. That's the dance because, again, just coming here to hear this Dharma talk, just taking time to sit on the cushion itself is having a design for something. You're making an effort. So I don't know. I guess I just hope that that is some kind of inspiration, this idea of trying to make no effort, um, seeing the good in suspending good and bad. That is the tricky Zen practice that we're all trying to do. And it came up, I was talking to someone about this, and it just came up for me. I wanted to share with y'all. And maybe people have heard this before. I can't imagine it hasn't been talked about. But someone said it's like Hamlet, to be or not to be. That is the question. And I just thought it was amazing that I don't think I've ever thought of that or heard that in a Zen context. But that's exactly what Zen is. That literally, Shakespeare encapsulated everything that the Buddha path is. Just that one phrase, to be or not to be, that is the question. To try or not to try, that is the question. The absolute, the relative, that's the question, right? All of these things, all of these seeming dichotomies um, are present always, and how to dance with them, how to bounce from one to the other, how to see them as one is the question, is our practice, is the reason we sit on the cushion, is the reason we make intention for our life to become intimate with the truth of being and non being as one. I hope that makes no sense and some sense, and I will open it up to anyone for any comments or questions.